All right, great. So yeah, so we are actually connected. So once again, welcome everyone, and then I don't want to waste any much more of our time, so I'll be jumping right into why we are here. But first of all, let me introduce myself. So once again, I am God's Favor Abraham Roy, the official. I don't want to make it too informal. So the person in charge of RoeTechHub. So the person in charge of RoeTechHub, and then you might be wondering what's RoeTechHub. All right. So Roe is the extension of my name, and the Tech Hub is Tech Hub. Right. So RoeTechHub is actually an organization where we teach secondary school students how to code. We teach secondary school students like secondary, and I think from senior secondary session 1, which is known as grade 4 upward, so and to high school level. So and then we also teach, I think, from age 5, do personal tutorials for age 5 upward also. So that's it for RoeTechHub. So now we are also welcome once again, and then just as I've said, as I've promised, and I'm trying as much as possible to keep up with, is I'm not going to tie us down with too much of the words to watch, but we're going to be doing more of the project-based learning. All right. So just as I've promised, for those that are in the updates platform, please make sure you're checking daily, because from now henceforth there will be updates on how to solve or what to do about the LMS, the PLP LMS. All right. So what to know, what to solve, how to solve them. The updates will be dropped in the Telegram platform. So if there's anything you're not getting, anything you're not understanding, so please just contact my other support, the person in charge of the group where we actually got the message to join into this particular meeting. So once you send your message to her, she's going to forward it directly to me, and then I'll be able to get across to you. Okay, so thank you all once again for being present here. All right. So without doing any further ado, I would like to ask a question, and I want us to at least maybe 3 people to just say something. So do we have anyone here who is starting for the first time? And because I want to believe we are all starting for the first time, but I just need to confirm so I can know how to break things down more. All right, we have Maxwell starting for the first time. So do we have any other person new to programming? Any other person? Okay, I get. Okay, all right, that's 2. We have Lucia. Thank you. We have 2. Okay, we have Innocentia also. All right, so we have 3 people who actually new to. Okay, we have Steven also. All right, we have Steven. Okay, I guess that's all right. So the remaining of us, I guess we are actually familiar with programming already. All right, so which makes it actually very fun. So you're going to enjoy this section. As a matter of fact, you're going to enjoy the section continuously. Why? Because in RoeTechHub, we teach kids how to develop websites, build, let's create programs, and with the help of JavaScript, React, and the likes. So it will be easier for me to also explain to your understanding, because I'm going to use the same logic we used in explaining to those kids to we ourselves. Okay, so with that being said, so I'm going to share my screen now, and then we're going to do something. So if you're in with your laptop, if it is possible, if there's a way you can do it, you can you might want to. Okay, there is no need to even put yourself in the rush. Why? Because you can still get access to this particular meeting later on, right? You can get access to this meeting because it's actually recorded. but let's hope it comes out quickly. All right, so we're just using this night to understand the concept of programming. So while I share my screen, let me just share my screen immediately, and then we're going to jump right into things. Share. Okay, so please signify if you can see my screen. Can we all see my screen? Anybody? Okay, thank you for signifying. All right, great. Now, so let's jump right in. Okay, so this is what I'm actually seeing from my end. So let's minimize this. Okay, let's cut this out. Okay, so now I'm going to for this section, I'm supposed to start from how to install this IDE, the Visual Studio Code and the likes and so on, but we won't have we're going to do that in another section. All right, so we're going to do that in another section, but for now let's just jump right in and then first understand some things about Python. All right, so what do we name this our session? Okay, so let me just save it on the desktop right here. So I'm going to name this okay, so let's name this PLP team per session, right? All right, so now that I've picked this folder, don't worry, you might not understand how all this works now, but trust me, by tomorrow, before tomorrow evening, you'll know how to do every single thing that's actually that is here. All right, so you're going to know everything here. So but first of all, let's do something, because we want to familiarize ourselves with the world of programming. All right, so now for our journey in the PLP, we discover that the programming language that is like is said to be used, it's is going to be Python, right? So since it's going to be Python, so our trainings, like our meetings, is actually going to be on Python. Okay, it's false. I've been logged out. False. So we have to redo it again. Okay. So our section, everything here is going to be, we're going to be using most of everything we're going to be doing will be based on Python, because it's actually here in the notes. We have a note right here in the course outline here. So we have a note right here, not this particular one, but this one, I think. No, not this one, it's this one, somewhere around that section 1, section 2. No, these are the recordings for today's session. Okay, I think it's actually here underneath the software engineering section here. So we have this particular script that was actually pasted, that is underneath this section here. So and then seeing it, you discover that what was actually there is a Python script underneath this video right here. So underneath here, as you can see, so this, when it gets to this particular place when it says your first challenge, you see it says your mini game in Python. So this is how I got to discover that what we're going to be using the most in this journey will be what? Python. So in other words, we need to familiarize ourselves with Python, right? So as not to so it won't look strange to us, and then so we won't be depending too much on others to solve the problems. Then we just copy the answers. So we're trying to learn it on our own so that we can solve the questions, we can solve those problems ourselves. Okay, so yes, okay, so let me sorry. Alright, so I'm back to this particular PC. Okay, so pardon me, I have to just quickly do something on the other one here. Okay, so now we are here, and then So I've explained this. If you are on the update Telegram platform, if you're in the update Telegram platform, you're going to notice this. Okay, you're going to have noticed this. So you should have noticed when I solved this challenge. So if you haven't seen it, please go to the okay, someone wants to say something. Yes, actually Francis, yes, don't worry, it's actually recorded. You can see this red stuff right here, so it shows that it's being recorded. All right, so it shows that it's being recorded, but it depends, like when you're going to see it might actually take time, so it might actually take time to get it uploaded. All right, so but yeah, it's actually being recorded, so it is better to follow now so you can ask questions, because if you're watching recordings you can't ask a question from what is being recorded. All right, so whatever question pops out in your mind should be answered right here and now. Okay, so let's continue. So I've solved these already, so I've solved these in the updates. If you check the updates platform, it has been okay. Someone is saying something again. Okay, yes, Lucia, please say something. Lucia, your hands, like your hand is up. Like, are you trying to say something? Like you raised up your hand. Lucia. Okay, I guess she's not saying anything. All right, so let's proceed. Okay, I can't see the screen. Someone said he can't see the screen. You should be able to see it. It's live, like it's live now. Can you see it now? Okay, all right, no problems. So now, instead of starting with this particular project here, all right, we're going to learn some few things about Python before we come back to this particular one, if time still permits. Okay, so first of all, let's go back to our IDE here, and then let's create a new Python file, and then just call this myapp.py. so myapp.py, and then we have this place set up. Okay, so now you are wondering, like, okay, you might actually not be wondering, but the reason why we added .py, if you're familiar with some particular ones, we have files, like we have different kind of files. We have, for web development, we have HTML we have index.html, index.html. so we have index.html, we have scripts.js or app.js or whatever. As a matter of fact, I can add my name, Roe.py, still going to work. So naming is actually not the essential part in all these things right here. Let me tell you what's actually essential. Whatever comes after a full stop, whatever comes after, let me increase the screen so it will be clear. So whatever comes after a full stop like this is what's essential here. So that means even if I say hello guys, so please pardon the noise at the background. So if I say hello guys like this, so if I say hello guys, you see that this is actually not doing anything here. This is the logo of HTML, which shows that this is an HTML file. This is the logo of Python, which is saying this is a Python file. This is another logo of Python, which is saying this is a Python file. All right, so and then this is the logo of JavaScript, which is saying this is a JavaScript file. But then this is unknown. That was why we have this text format, this txt format right here, saying I actually don't know what kind of file is this. So how do I run this kind of file? What do I run? What compiler should I use? What programming language are you trying to work on here? So once you add the full stop, then it's prepared, and it says the name hello guys is not valid as a file or folder name. Please choose a different name. So from here you can add the programming language you want. So let's start from the HTML again. So let's type HTML. You see this changed automatically, but I haven't hit enter on my keyboard to save it, so I'm going to delete this. You can also do what other programming languages that we have that we can say? Okay, we have CSS. This is for CSS. We have C. This is for C. We have C++. This is for C++. We have Python, the one we are going to use now, which is this. We have R. We have different kinds of programming language that you can ever think of. VS Code here is available to handle each and every one of them. All right, so we're going to leave that now and then just finish our extension py. So we're telling it this file is going to be a Python file. All right, so I'm going to save this and then delete. So if you have any question, please just let me know. Quickly ask your questions. All right, so I'm going to delete this. Going to delete this also. We don't want them. So we're going to leave my app. Okay, someone asked question. Yeah. Okay. Yes, please go on. Can we You said okay. Yes, please continue, go on. Yes. Okay, yes, we can actually do it. I'm still going to teach us how to use GitHub, all right? Because even if you look at this, I've connected my GitHub to my VS Code here. If I click on this, you're going to see Zarelion GitHub. So this is another account of mine on GitHub. Okay, so I linked this to a particular GitHub profile of mine. All right, so I linked this to another GitHub profile of mine, so which means whenever I'm doing something here, this guy keeps record of it, and then I can just push whenever I want. Okay, so this is where the source control is, where I can just easily push whatever new files or whatever I'm doing up to GitHub. So while here is the Explorer tab, where we get to see the files we're working on, and then here to search for maybe search for files, search for whichever content, and then here is the debugging console. So this is for debugging, and then here we have extension, where we can get other extensions to help VS Code run a particular program well, and so on and so forth. So we're still going to come back to all this, but not now. Okay, so but for this section, okay, wait, let me ask, have I answered your question, or I actually drived around the answer? Okay, so I want to believe I've answered your question. All right, so first of all, now before we write our first Python programming language, so let me just run us through within a very short minutes, within 1-2 minutes. Let's just do the let me just brief you the introduction to Python. So now, what is Python? Python is a high-level general purpose programming language that's actually known for one major thing: simplicity. So the only reason why programmers like Python is the fact that you don't have to stress yourself. So thank God I left this, like I kept this particular one. Okay, so now take for example, in Python, if you want to do something, you can say my name, just like this, and say my name equals you can say my name equals Roe. Okay, you can say you can say my name equals, okay, it's supposed to be string, is equals to Roe. So now, one thing about Python is, if there's something we call syntax. All right, there's something we call syntax. So each programming languages have their own syntax. Okay, so then what's it called here on let's start from this script right here. So for this particular guy here, from here I can just say my name is Roy, just as simple as this is. But for this guy, you can't, it will never work. You can't just say my name and then wait, I hope there is no space. Okay, yes, you can't just say my name equals Ray. Sorry, and then say Ray, and then you expect this to work. You're going to get a very, very fat error. Now, why would you get error in this particular one? Because there's something about JavaScript makes sure that its syntax are all like encrypted, encapsulated. Everything is encrypted, encapsulated, and whatever English it is, you want to like whatever English it is you want to compare it with. So but for Python, for example, now let's say if I want to create just a demo stuff like let's just create a demo what's it called, a demo example. So for example, here if you want to do something, you say let class equals PLP, and then you assign it. All right, you can say let class equals PLP and then you assign it. Automatically, if you see, if you're looking at this particular one, the reason why this is actually showing this is because class actually have a specific and a very delicate role to play whenever we're working on what's it called, where JavaScript. You can't just call class out of nowhere. Class cannot be easily used as variable because it holds a specific position. So let's use something else. So let's say let's name equals PLP. All right, so now it is seeing this as a variable, so it says let name and then the value has been set to string. So as I explained earlier in one of the tutorials that was placed on the Telegram platform, I said in programming, numbers are referred to as what? Integers. So numbers are referred to as integers. Meanwhile, alphabets are referred to as what? Strings. So should, in case you're communicating with another programmer and the programmer is telling you okay, some of the data are integers and some of the data are strings, so you won't be looking like which one is integers and which one is strings. So whenever programmers are communicating, they don't say number and alphabet. You will never hear them say alphabet and number. Should, in case you hear them say alphabet and number, then maybe is your cohort member, maybe the person is your personal friend, like your personal party, that will just say, okay, this one is number and then the value here is number, the value here is alphabet. But for programmers, it is called strings for alphabets, it is called integers for numbers. And then funny enough, when it comes to the place where we talk about true or false, you know, true or false works under the canopy of comparison. When you're comparing something, right? Comparison. So when you're comparing something is when you say true or false. When you say is my head bigger than yours? True. Is my head bigger than yours? False. So when it comes to the aspect of comparison, either comparing between two things or more, because you can't actually compare one thing. The word comparison cannot come around whatever is single. But when you're bringing two PCs together and you say my PC faster than yours, or is my PC optimized and like more efficient than yours, then you can say true and false. But in programming, instead of just jumping into calling the word comparison, you say boolean. So it might sound as stupid as it's already sound, which is actually stupid. Truly, it's actually stupid, but either you like it or yes, it is called boolean. So when you're trying to discuss something and then you're saying something like is 2 greater than 2, 2 greater than 2, false, 2 less than 2, true, 2 less than this, false, this, blah blah blah, or 2 equals 2, because I think yes. So integers are numbers. Let's just add something like 1 2 3 4 4 5 and then 6 and 7 and so on. No, don't use exponential. All right, so then that's it for integers. Then for strings, once again we have something like let's put them inside here. A, B, A, B, C, D, excuse me, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, blah, 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 and so on. So for comparison, for Boolean, so for Boolean, we have greater than, we have the greater than, we have the less than, we have, don't worry, yes, we use Boolean, leave it. We have the greater than, we have the less than, when we have equals. So what's actually funny is that Boolean actually didn't just stop in greater than, less than, and equals, but for beginners like ourselves, we all that are here, these are the basic ones that we're supposed to know, because we still have some operational booleans. For example, we have some operational what's it called, operators, like we have some like this, which is used for saying not or no in programming. So whenever you see an exclamation mark, means no. So let's use this as an example. If I should say 2 greater than 2, your answer will be what? Is 2 greater than 2? It will be false, right? Is 2 greater than 2? False. So this will be your answer, because 2 is not greater than 2, right? But then if I should add this here, if I add this will automatically change to true. Now why would this change to true? I am asking you that, is 2 not greater than 2? So if I ask you this question in English, that is 2 not, this icon here, this exclamation mark here, means not. So is 2 not greater than 2? Then you say true. 2 is not greater than 2. So I hope we are following. So I actually don't have to include this yet. So let's use something else like equals. So if this isn't here, if we have 2 equals 2, what would you have said? You say 2 equals 2 is what? True. But now I'm saying, is 2 not equals 2? So if you say is 2 not equals 2, well, what is it going to be? If you say true, that means 2 is not equals to 2. But if you say false, that means you're saying 2 is indeed equals to 2. So solving this kind of problem, you need to understand the concept of English, that you can only answer positive with true and negative with false. So you cannot say true, it is not. The English is not Englishing. I don't know if you understand. So the English is not Englishing. If you are saying true, it is not, how can you use positive to give a negative response? True, it is not. No, it is not. False, it is not. True, it is. Yes, it is. So it's just as simple as it is. So whenever you see something like this in a program, in a code, just know that this particular guy here is just representing no, not. So we use it sometimes when we're trying to grab error from APIs and some other things, not just grab error from APIs, and then we also use it when we're trying to compare data to and the likes. So all right, now let's I just hope we are actually just gaining things, because I don't want us to just be listening and then we're not grasping things. So actually we're supposed to just come and then just start writing code. But what is the essence of jumping in and start writing code when we don't even understand some basic things that we need to understand? Because if I start writing some particular code now, it's actually going to look like magic, that I'm just performing magic, and then lots and lots of questions will actually bump in that. How is this possible? How does this get here? Where does this come from? Or something thereabout. Okay, so now that I've explained to us, so I want to ask questions. All right, so I want to ask questions, and then I'm going to this place. So is there anyone in the chat there? Do we have anyone who can tell us what we call numbers in programming? Anybody? So it shows that we are all not following. Nobody is actually saying anything. Okay, some people are all right. Don't worry, you can unmute yourself and say it. You can unmute yourself if you wish to speak. Yes, integers, thank you. Yes, exactly, thank you, integers. Yes, Thank you all. So pardon me, I wasn't actually watching for your responses. I can see your response. Thank you. To integers. All right, so the next one. So how about alphabets? How about alphabets? Strings. Bravo. Exactly. Strings. That's a nice one there. So strings. Okay. So then how about when we're dealing with comparison, true and false? What do we call them? When we're dealing with true and false, like true, it is false, what do we call them? When we're dealing with true and false. Anyone? Boolean. Thank you. Whoever said that, thank you. Exactly, Boolean. Yeah, that's actually very nice. So it shows that we are all actually following what I've been explaining since. Okay, so let's get back right in. So all right, so we've understand that numbers are integers, alphabets are strings. Then when you're dealing with comparison, like true or false, equals, and so on, they are called booleans. So should, in case you're speaking with a programmer and the programmer is telling you that your data, what's your data type, like what's the data type of or what's the data type in your variable, or what did you get, what is the result, what data type is the result you get. So instead of telling the person, well, it is a number, in fact, the person will just look at you with one eye and be like, okay, this has shown that you're actually a newbie, or perhaps you just jumped into programming without even learning basic stuffs. So you tell the person it is integer. So when you're telling the person it is integers, then the person will be like, yeah, I think this person knows what he or she is saying. Then comes to alphabets, strings, and what's actually very funny is most of us knows how to code in a particular programming language, but we actually don't even know that numbers are called integers, alphabets are called strings, and boolean. Okay, you might actually come across alphabet. Alphabet is very, very essential. No matter how, you would know that alphabet is strings, but you might not know that numbers are integers, and true or false are actually called, okay, if you're programming, you will know true and false are actually called booleans. Okay, so now let's quickly do something. So as I was saying, that Python is a high level general purpose programming language. For example, we also have some low level programming language too, which are actually very powerful. We have the likes of let me just name one, which, yes, C. Just C. C happens to be a low level language that I love, because C, while I was doing my training, software engineering training with ALX, cohort 9 2022, or was it 2023, if I can remember, we used C. So C happens to be one of my favorite programming language, which I have loved since ever since then. But the day I met with Python, I was actually very wowed, because in Python you don't have to stress yourself before you do anything. Just write. You don't have to couple things. For example, you don't have to say let before you can set a variable, and then after you still set the variable and then you add your data, you still have to cover it with something and the like. So Python, there are some places where you can cover your data if you want, and if you wish, you can just leave it empty-handed. It still won't affect it. But you see these guys and the remaining of them and the likes, if you don't, as a matter of fact, even if you use this instead, is a problem. It's a very huge problem. You see, 9 plus. But if you just return this, at least 9, we know it's because of all this. So if I should comment out all this, you discover that all the errors will be gone. See, the errors are gone. Now let's just tweak this. Just because I didn't add this now, and then maybe I used something else, an error occurred. But for Python, you can just write it plainly like this. You don't even need to stretch yourself, and it is still going to work. So that is why most programmers of nowadays tend to build their community around Python, because it is very cheap and easy to learn. All right, so it is like English language of coding, because here, just imagine this sentence, say let name equals PLP. I know let name actually makes sense, but how about saying const again? We still have const. You can still say const me, maybe const me equals 100, something like this. Should be lowercase. So const me equals 100. Just imagine const me equals, how does this even write? And I can just bump right here on Python and just say me equals 100, and you can't even find any error anywhere. Are you getting the point now? So Python is just like easy life, and trust me, I really love Python, but I don't have option because most of what I do, I use JavaScript libraries like React, Node, and the likes and the likes and the likes. So it's actually very essential that I stay around this guy, but I still prefer doing it because all the bots that I created for Telegram, I have several Telegram bots that I've created, and I actually used Python because it is easy, and then it has like a very vast community that's, no matter your problem, you have people around to help you. And then as a matter of fact, you can't even have problem with Python, although you definitely can have. So now compare this to this, just this equals this, just this equals this, and we are fine. But look at someone here, let this equals this, const this equals this. We even have the one we still call var this equals this. Okay, let's make this a string. Sorry, this is also a function. It's also a property function. Sorry, it's a function here. So var, let's just say guy. There's nothing like guy here. So var guy equals this. We have let, we have const, we have var. As a matter of fact, we still have what was this one called? We have const let. We have const let var. Okay, that's, I think, no. This one is supposed to be the 3. There's also one other one. So we let const, which are the ones I use most of the time, var. Okay, I think that's it. All right. So now let's go back to our Python, the person that we're here because of the reason we're here tonight. So now, just as I was saying that Python is just like coding in English language because it is readable and clean, and it is also forgiving for beginners. Don't have to be to just stress yourself just because you want to assign a variable and a data to a variable, something that you can just do like this and peace of mind. So now, and then Python actually can be used for website development. It's used in data science, machine learning, blockchain and security, automations, game development, Internet of Things, and robotics. You just name it. Python is often the first language beginners learn, and one of the experts still uses them like every day. Like almost all of the experts still uses Python up till date. All right. So now let's quickly talk about the history of Python. So the history of Python, the creator of Python is called what's this man's name? Guido van Rossum, or Guido van Rossum. But it's easier to remember his name, called Dutch programmer. So if you just say Dutch programmer, that's enough. So if you're asked, so it's Guido van Rossum, but you can also say the Dutch programmer. You actually understand. All right, so he created it in the late 1980s, somewhat there, but it was released around 1991. So, and the reason why he made it was because he was tired of confusing, complicated programming languages. So he wanted something easy to write and easy to read. So he was tired of using programming languages like this. You know, as a programmer, you need to know, like, at least, especially if you're a software developer, like if you're a software engineer, you need to know more than one programming language. There's a particular time I was writing a program. So I forgot that I was actually I was writing a program, like a batch program on Git bash. So I was trying to create a particular program called RoeTechHub. So the RoeTechHub is just a particular idea that I'm still working on. I'm not done yet. So I forgot that what I was actually doing, I'm not using JavaScript. So I forgot that I was using C to test something out. So I have, in fact, like almost a quarter of the page, I did it with JavaScript. So the rest was like continuous. So when it got to a particular time, so I was like, wait, why is this thing not looking like what's going on? And then I discovered that oh Jesus, I've written like almost few lines of these things with another language while my mind was not even there. So that was the same thing that happens to what's it called, Van Rossum, that I was angry. I was like, what is the meaning of this? Sometimes if you might even be programming, we might be coding on Python, and then sometimes on Python you just see me, before I know it, I'm already here doing something like let me equals 100, and then immediately I get an error. It's then that my mind will not be like, oh, I think I've been doing things the wrong way. So then you quickly remove it. So before, when we've not started using VS Code, then they were still using tab. We'll be using I know most of you, if you watch some tutorials, the tutorials actually starts with what's it called, we called it notepad. When we start with notepad, then if you run your code, you discover that it's not working, and before you will even get to understand that it is just one semicolon that is causing the confusion, you will sweat. You can read through 1,000 line of code that you've written just before you can. But now with the help of VS Code, immediately you're writing the error, you quickly know that there's an error. Immediately an error will pop out beside the script name right here for you to know that there's an error. Just quickly resolve this before you ruin things. So which is actually why most people are actually swimming back to VS Code, because it makes it easier. You're working and you're debugging at the same time ASAP. The work is going flowing, is flowing as the wind. All right, so he was actually very tired, so he named it Python after the comedy group Monty Python. I think that was actually mentioned also in this thing here, PLP. Where is it? So they said something about it underneath the fun facts. So under the fun facts section here, they said where is it? Yes, fun facts. They said, okay, YouTube was built by 3 people in just a few months. Yeah. Then they said Python was named after a comedy show, not the snake. So actually they are right. Python was named after a comedy show, like a comedy show group called Monty Python. So you can check, they're called Monty Python. So you can watch it. So it's actually fun, but it's old school fun comedies. So you can watch their comedy if you're interested to. So like not the initial Python snake, but if you look at the logo very well, you see these are 2 Python connected, like the Python snakes connected. So one is facing downward and then one is facing the top, so more like combined. So now, why Python was created? So you see, most programming languages before Pythons were too rigid, especially this guy, JavaScript and C. And how many of you, do we have any assembly program? if you are an assembly programmer, please raise your hand. If you code with assembly, raise up your hand. Sorry, I can't hold myself. So if you're an assembly programmer, sorry, I'm laughing, but to laugh. Okay, so if you're an assembly programmer, you're welcome. As a matter of fact, we are giving you trophy. We'll give you an award of honor being in our midst today. And then for Android programmers too, Java programmers too, you guys too are trying your best, because how can you want to print just something as little as, not even something of just one line like this, but what you have to type to be able to print it will be almost like all these things combined. So you get, so what's it called, Rossum. So Rossum was actually like very tense that which kind life be this, like what's the meaning of all these things. So he was like, these things are too rigid though, and it's just filled with weird symbols. So now what's the meaning of this? Although it has meaning, should in case, I don't know, this thing might actually come up somewhere, and then they ask you that what's the function of semicolons in the back of like programming language that supports it like this. So another word for this semicolon or semicolon, whichever way you call it, is called new line. So it's called new line, like it's called new line. It's not like new line of new line. So it's just telling the compiler that this particular data right here, this particular section right here stops here, so it ends here. Then now just run this, do whatever it says to do, then start afresh again, run this, do whatever it says to do, start afresh again, run this, do whatever it says to do. So this is where it stops. But for Python knows that anything that makes this thing, that if you want anything, you would have included it on same line. So anything that is not making you including it on the same line, then that means this new line is for another thing entirely. So that is how Python has been made, because it's actually very hard to understand unless you are already a pro. Just imagine, as I'm doing all this thing, if I have not been explaining it, will just look like, what was the difference between this and this? Why is this one having all these things and around, and this one is just like this? So Python came to break the barrier. So its mission is actually that there should be one, and preferably only one, obvious way to do something, which is the same way, which is the way we are now doing it now in Python. Because this philosophy is actually part of the Zen of Python, a list of like 19 designs. You can read it in Python by typing, just type import this, this. So if you do this import this, and then you run it, you're going to read like a particular like Zens of Python list of like design principles and the likes and the likes and the like. But we don't want to like dive into that. All right, so we don't want to dive into that, not to waste much of our time. So let me just quickly round up. So we need to do something, like we have to code something and make sure it works before we leave today. But I'm trying to make sure we are familiar with everything about Python, since our section, like the PLP section, is basically on Python. So you need to understand every single thing you need to know about Python, so that whenever you're getting the updates from the Telegram update group, for those that are in the update group, if you're not in the update group, check back at the platform and then make sure you get the link to the update group and then join, so that whenever I drop a particular updates in the group, whenever you're watching those updates, you would be able to understand, and then like it's, whenever I'm explaining things, it won't sound strange to you. Because for those of you that are now familiar with it now, you remember when you're watching the other updates, then everything I was doing was just like magic, even though I was trying to break things down as much as possible. So now, what is the key features of Python? For just readability, like for readability, like readable syntax, Ctrl Z, okay. So just like readable syntax to write code like you write English, just normal, my name equals Roy, and that is it. Not because I just want to set my name and say let my name. Which one is let my name? Which one is const my name or var my name? That kind of thing. So this is actually just too stressful, although it works for itself. But with this, you can just say my name equals, and that is it, and it's going to work. So, and then they one of the features too is their standard library, like, you know, tons of tools that is already built in, because people actually like Python, so they are contributing more and more and more on Python, to the extent that within few seconds you can create something that is like as powerful as you can ever even imagine. Being a Python developer is actually the cheapest, sweetest, and easiest way to be a developer, I'm telling you. And then it's also cross-platform. It works on Windows, it works on Mac, it works on Linux. They have a huge community, like tons of supports, tutorial, open source projects everywhere. And then the one that we keep repeating is the beginner friendly. It's great for first timers and self-learners. Very, very good. So, and it's very versatile. Now, so when I say it's versatile, it means it also can work on back end. It works in back end. It works with data, works with AI, works with scripting. Like it's more like it's an all-in-one language. Although the same thing, this guy can also do it. JavaScript can do it. But my brother, if I show you just one page, like just one page of using this guy to just do something that is not even worth something too much, or just something just brief and simple, you will think I'm writing the the list and journals about the presidents of our country stealing our money. But if you come to this particular guy with that same particular stuff you want to do, what you just see is just simple flow of stuff. But you see this guy, in fact, if you're new to programming, just looking at it alone, in fact, your eyes will just start like turning, your face will just start turning, because you don't even know where to start from. That is why these guys will tell you, before you write your code, make sure to always include comments. Make sure to always include comments. Okay, this is where I set my name. This is where I set my name, so that people like you, when they get to this place, they'll be able to know that, okay, this is where he sets his name. But if you're reading this is more like English language. I said my name equals Roy. A normal person can just come here and then be like, okay, this is where you set your name. My name equals this. But when someone sees const my name equals 100, let my name equals PLP, it's actually going to be confusing, right? So now with the help of this, we were able to with the help of Python, everything is like simpler, like just easy for you to do. And then it's an interpreted language, so there is no need to be compiling it, unlike these people that uses compiler to blah 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 blah. This is just normal, like just normal interpretable language. Just interpret it out and just run and then go, everything is done. All right, so now so let's just talk briefly about how Python works, like behind the curtain. So Python is an interpreted language, all right? So which means you write the code, Python reads it line by line and then runs it directly. Okay, so for example, these guys, and then especially C, in fact C oh my god, there was a particular time that I just, like, I was saying to myself that, so even if I want to create a programming language myself, that wouldn't it be useless since Python already has something as simple as this? How can somebody just wake up in the morning and you say, okay, let's create a programming language, and then you say, let's start adding this, then you add semicolon, then you use const, you use var, you use let, you use what? Isn't this reasonable enough? What is the use of this? Like, what is the meaning of this? What is the use of this when this is easy enough? So also just come out of nowhere. So the developer of assembly too, in fact, those ones, there are some particular developers that you cannot even pray for them that they should make heaven, because you know they are definitely not going to make heaven. Especially the person, these guys there, this developer that made JavaScript, he can't make heaven, because he dropped a problem here for us programmers and then just died and went his way. Now we are here battling with this, but thank God for Rusum that actually came up with something this easier. Although if you started with this, it will be you won't be able to leave this just that easily, because even the market of Python is already congested. It's congested already, but still there are still spots as long as you know what to do. So there is one mindset that you need to carry ahead or along while you're doing this software engineering training, which is, don't learn to go and work, learn to go and create work. All right, I know if you want to go and work, you'll be paid well. Yes, the pay is fine, everything is okay, but don't learn to go and work, learn to create work. So that is why I'm trying to connect us as peer. Whichever peer that you actually graduate with, you guys can start your own startup company together as peer, because your journey together has bond you, and then you've known each other's weaknesses, strengths, and so on and so forth, and you can come together and say, okay, I have this project idea, I have this app idea, I have this software idea, why don't we do so thing? And then you do it, and once you see that it's working, you push it out, and then the more people start using it. So please, there's like, okay, I know before you even finish the program, you would be smart enough to know that as a software engineer, you cannot just create a software and then just include payment feature immediately for users to pay. They won't use it, because why would I pay for what I have not used? What is the benefit? What is the profit? What am I earning? Like, what is the gain? Why would I just want to use your app, and the first thing you're asking me is to pay? App that you give me 3 days to test, and then the following days you're asking me to pay. New app that is in the market, nobody has even used it. So that's not how it works. Before you integrate stuffs like maybe payment options and like, you make sure your app has gone viral and has filled a particular space in the midst of a particular prospect, your niche that you've actually gained. So when you see that, okay, you check your database and then it's be like, and then you're like, wow, we already have like 200,000 users, or okay, I think that's too much. Okay, let's say 5,000 users. And then you're like, okay, 5,000 users, let's push 5,000 to 100,000. Then after pushing to 100,000, you include new features, but those new features now will now be features that needs to maybe token, just a token to begin with. So if your app or your software or whatever you build is actually very, very important, they are going to pay. Just imagine me, I'm going to pay if I know something is going to profit me, if I'm going to benefit, if it is helping me. Why won't I pay to use it? So are you getting me now? So they are definitely going to pay to use it, but don't start with the mindset of building what will make them pay immediately. You're just doing it. What I haven't tasted, you want me to pay for it? Are you kidding me? It's just like going to a restaurant to buy food and you're saying, give me the money before selling. Like, what do you mean? I have not eaten, you want to get money? Like, how is it working? Do you even know the amount of food I want to buy or something like that? So now let's continue. So now Python is an interpreted language, just as I've been saying. So, and then the dynamic typing, so you don't even need to define the data type. Like, don't even do anything, just me equals 100. Python has no, like, Python already understand that this is integer automatically, just automatically, and they just say my name Roe. You see, the reason why this is called string is because it is encoded into this single quotes. So if it is not inside this single quote here, Python will actually regard it as an error, because this is actually still not a name of a function or of a operator. For example, if I change this to true, it is not going to throw an error at us. Why? Because, okay, sorry, capital T, true, because true is actually like an operator for boolean. I believe you guys still remember, for booleans. So it is actually not going to report anything aside all these important operators. So it is definitely going to say something. Like if I say king, just imagine it's going to throw an error at us. You're seeing the one here, so it's going to throw an error at us. So but adding quotes makes it know that this is a string. So I know some of you might be thinking in your mind that, okay, what's the difference between using single quotes and double quotes? Even if you use single quotes and the same double quotes for it, strings are string. Even if you remove the single quotes and use only double quotes, strings are strings. Are you getting it? So even no matter how you want to do it, no matter how you're going to do it, but most people prefer single quotes and most people prefer double quotes. So mine is as the spirit leads. I can use single, I can use double. It doesn't matter in some particular aspects. All right. So even if we write a very simple, like when it comes to the type of the time for indentation matters, like for example, we have this here. You can say here, let's write an if statement here. We can say if age, no, let's see, have I assigned? Let me get something that I've assigned. That's one of the stupid stuff these guys does. If you've not assigned something, you cannot just call it anyhow. So we've set something like my name. So let's use my name. Yeah, my name. So if my name is greater or equals, no, let's look at something of alphabet, my ME. Sorry, my ME. So if is greater or equals to 18, then we now have this. Like, can you imagine what is the meaning of this? Why the curly braces after there is a parenthesis here? If a parenthesis, then you still have curly braces again. Now you now say console.log. Just imagine, just to print out something, then say you are an adult. Let's just use this. And as a matter of fact, you still have to add this here, close line. Can you see how stupid a particular program can be? Just say if you are older than 18, if you are 18 or you are older than 18. So that means my ME is 100. So that means, okay, let me just name this my age, and then let's set this to my age so that error will not jump on us. My age. So this is saying my age is greater. So this is saying if my age is greater than 18 or equals to 18. So that means if it is equals to 18, say you are an adult. If it is greater than 18, say you are an adult. But if it is less, don't do anything. Alright, so after adding this here, funny enough, most of the time it's not necessary, but you still have to add this here. My god. Now let's check this same particular line of code in Python. In Python, it's just if me greater or equals 18, my dear brothers and sisters, colon, next line. You see, automatically it jumps to this length. It didn't start from here. It jumps to this length because with this colon, it has already know that the continuation is meant for this particular if statement here. And then what you just say is print, like normal English that small children can even pronounce. Print, like print, to print, and then in parentheses whatever you want to print. Leave there. Who is this? Print you are an adult. Sorry. You are an adult. You don't need the whatever you are adding. You see, it's even telling you that there is an error, that the stuff is not needed. Do you see? Just if me is greater or equals 18, colon, print you are an adult. Now check this guy here. If my age is greater than, in parentheses, after there's another curly braces, there's another console dot log dot another. Like, why are you getting the issues now? So now let's go back here. Let's go back to this particular page here. So now we have, yes, please do. Yes, it's the same thing, but we are printing on console here. Yes, if you want to print on your browser, that will be documents.write. Then you make sure you've linked this particular file to an HTML file so that you can write it inside the HTML. Yes, definitely you can. Yes, you can. So once you're on your browser, you just click Ctrl+Shift+I. Once you click on Ctrl+Shift+I, it's going to bring out this particular section here that is saying console. As you can see, it's right here. So there's an extension right here. There's a console extension here. So you can also run it here. So I can say, yes, you can just say console.log hello world. Let's just say hello world, and then just close this and run, and then hello world automatically. So it works on browsers too. And if you have what's it called, if you have the what's it called, if you've set up your console also here on VS Code, it will actually run. So it's almost like same thing. Okay, so let's continue so we won't waste any much more of our time. So now, where Python is used in real world like situations for web dev, whenever you're working with Python frameworks like the Django, Flask, and the likes. For data science, when you're using Pandas, NumPy, and Matplotlib. Was it Matplotlib? Matplotlib. No, I think it's Matplotlib safe. Or was it lab? I think it's Matplotlib. Whichever way. AI and machine learning, that's when you're using TensorFlow and PyTorch. That guy wants to break my head. In fact, I'm resting from that particular section now. I need to rest my brain. So for cybersecurity too, Python 2 comes in for scripting, automation, and then for like malware analysis. For blockchains too, you know, for wallets, smart contracts, like especially with the web3.py that is out there, one of the best tools. And then for automations like auto emails, for bot buildings, for file renamings, and so on and so forth. And then the best part is even for game developments. Python now has even opened up to the stage of game development. Pygame, we have Pygame now. That's opened into the world of game development also. So all right, so just as I've said, so in summary, so what Python is. So Python is actually just a weapon of purpose, just like simple enough for kids to even learn. Just imagine me trying to explain this to a 5-year-old. Are you getting the point? So explaining this to a 5-year-old is actually very, very tough. But in RoeTechHub, you don't have option. You have to explain it to them, because most of the kids, I don't know why, few of them choose to become software engineers and would love to like work using Python, because we already, first of all, like, we let them know so that they can pick the one their brain can actually take, so we won't be lagging behind. So most of them actually are using Python, and then some of them are using this. So we have some most of the ones using these are in secondary school, like in grade 4 upward, like SS1 upward. And let me see if you can even access their faces. Let me see if I can show us the face of few of them. Let's see if I can show us the face of few of them. Let's see. Sorry, pardon. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is one of their projects right here, which we actually used a free hosting to host up. So this is one of their projects worked on by Joshua. We have Joshua, we have Victor, Okwe. That's like 3 boys and 1 girl. So they actually worked on these 3 boys and 1 girl. So they did this together. Okay, I think Okwe added her name, Okwe, and then this is the Victor. Oh, Joshua didn't add his own name. Oh yeah, this guy added his own. Olorumola added his own. So these are the students. These are our students. These guys you're looking at here in this gallery section that he added are our students. Every one of them here. So we actually have them in secondary school. So whenever we are there, as a matter of fact, when we even started this, it was actually very funny, because we thought they won't be able to grasp it, but we later discovered that what we need to do is like energize them and then let them know that it might look tough, but if you keep on doing it, it will be easier. And then as time goes on, like, they were like liking it. As a matter of fact, most of the time they challenge themselves in creating like mini apps and the likes, and then they're doing so. We're still packaging them around, and I'll make sure one day we host a meeting. So I don't know, but we are going to host a meeting where we all have to, like, we will have the time to speak with them, like just have them on the meeting, maybe like question them or just get to meet them. So I know they will even be happy to partner with adults too. All right, so now let's just continue. So so Python is just not a language. So it is the gateway drug to building power with your mind. So you master it and then you control the digital battlefield. So no fluff, just fire in your hands. All right, so now the Python syntax. Now this Python syntax is that you're seeing here. You see, syntax is this stuff here. Syntax, this is like a format of arranging things. Like syntax is like a set of rules that defines how you write like the code, that you write your code, so the compiler like understands it and then runs it without error. All right, so like think of it like grammar for a spoken language. So like the building blocks of like writing clear instructions to the computer. So these are set by set instructions, and then this format that you're seeing here is a syntax, because this is the correct syntax for writing a if conditional statement. Because if I should back this like this, error, you see, just this tab here, just this tab space. So if it is like this, the syntax is not correct, but if you tab it back to this line, then the syntax is correct. So I don't know why it is like that. We have to go and ask Ronson ourselves if we want to know. So but this is just how it works, and this is how we've been using it, and we have got no issues. So now in JavaScript here, when I wanted to comment out a message, I did, wow, this is 8:35, so let me bring everything to a close as fast as possible. So the comment right here is just double slash, like double forward slash. So which means if I want to comment out this one too, all I need to do is just do double forward slash and it's out. But for Python, it uses a markdown comment format. So that means if I want to comment out this one, all I just need to do is add hash, and that's it. Whatever you write here will not be compiled, will not be interpreted by the terminal, so it's not going to see it as error. But if you mistakenly, you said, yes, that's no, even for your double line comment, what's it called, if you should do like this and then try to like comment everything out, Python will just add hash each line. But for these guys now, for this particular one, if you want to do multi-line comments, it has its own syntax of doing it. Apart from this particular way, you can still use the asterisk and forward slash. I think that's what you're trying to get, right? Asterisk and forward slash, like asterisk and forward slash, and then maybe at the end you have forward slash and asterisk. Where is it? Right? Is it not something like this you're talking about, right? Oh, sorry. Forward slash asterisk, asterisk, forward slash asterisk. Alright, so this is multi-line, and automatically it covers everything from here to here. So, but it is for Python, most of the time it is profitable to just use like this one line comments, because you barely run into error in Python. So I see no reason why you should even want to like, you know, like cover a particular long length of, why do you barely run into errors. But if truly you still want to use like maybe you are still like eager to see us use it, so it's actually the same way, and then just say asterisk, where is it? Okay, sorry, asterisk. So you see, are you seeing it? The person that is talking, like, I'm sorry, the person speaking at the background, can you see it? Okay, I think the person is on mute. Okay, so let's still change it. Let's see, maybe the format can still work differently if we switch it. So do you see that it doesn't work on Python? Multi-line comments doesn't work on Python, alright, but it works on these guys here. You see, from here to here now has been commented out. So, and if you remove just this one alone, it will still be on comments, but if you remove the beginning, it's not on comments. So that's just it. Alright, so let me quickly remove this. Let's remove this box that someone allowed us to add to our code. Alright, so our code is feeling fine. Okay, so now we have issue in our code. We have 7. Where, okay, this guy, you can't just be standing around any way you want. It's either you move or you give this particular line the grace of comment, and then once we comment it out, yes, this also, there shouldn't be a space between your variable and there shouldn't be any space around your variable and the tab. It needs to touch the wall. So once it is touching the wall, you are good to go. So this particular statement here, something is wrong. What happened? Okay, the spacing too, so just back this, and then that's it. So let's just quickly talk about variables again. Okay, we've talked about variables. Yeah, we've talked about variables. These particular ones are integers, blah blah blah, strings and booleans. So, and then indentation like this, and then we have conditionals. Okay, let's even run this. Yes, we're actually working on Python, so let's run something. So if me is greater than 18, okay, let's say my age is maybe 10 years old, and then I'm trying to, like, let's say this is our software, and then it's only meant for adults. So, and then while signing up to the software, I already signed up my details, and then I'm likely to be 10 years old. So then, but inside of our software, there's a particular indentation inside. There's a particular condition inside, a conditional statement that says if the user, okay, let's name this user to make it look professional, right? So if user is greater or equals to 18 years of age, then tell the user you are an adult. Okay, then okay, yes, let's first start from this before we continue it. So I've run this, so let's wait for it to be interpreted here. So what did he say? Print this for us. What's your problem? PLP. Okay, was he not inside this one? This thing, I've got to be kidding me like this. Print this. If user is okay. Sorry, I forgot that user is like younger. User is younger, so that's why we are having empty and blank space around the two times that we run it. So we are having blank space. So but now let's say the user is 18. What if the user is now that same 18 years old? And then let's run this. So after running it, it still tells us that what you are a what, like you are an what, you are an adult. So that means even if you are 18, that's why this equals is here. But if we remove this equals and then just run it, we're going to get it empty, because we are only telling the computer, like we are telling our software that whoever is going to log in must be more than 18. Nothing like we are not concerned. Even if the person is 18, the person must be, this is greater than, right? So greater than 18. So but when you add equals, means you are even still picking 18. So that means if the person is greater than 18 or equals 18. So if it's greater or equals, so greater is correct, equals also is correct. So whenever we run this, we definitely know that they basically that to tell us that you are an adult. Okay, let's add something fun. You're an adult, like come in or welcome. Is it come in or welcome? Let's just say welcome. Welcome. So then now we say, okay, how can we still do this? What if the person is younger? How do we do this? Automatically, if you press enter, it's going to run to the very beginning, because it knows if you're going to add anything after this particular indentation line here, it's going to be the beginning. So why didn't you go to the beginning if I'm not adding two prints? Okay, so now we will now say else. This else is very popular in fact almost every other programming language. So else print what kind of thing can we use to chase back children from using our app? Where are your parents? Why is this thing always keep looking this thing like this? Where are your parents? This is one of the disadvantage of VS Code. So you just keep popping out telling you what you already know. Get out. Alright, so now let's go back and then say the user is actually a child of maybe 14 years and then wants to use this our software that is meant for adults. So it says, where are your parents? Get out! So are you seeing it now? So it's just like as simple as this line, this block of code should be. So something as simple as this that we are using to like just do this intro is what you will be doing like more even when you become a professional software engineer, but only that some things will change. For example, you can now say maybe user validity will not be using some stupid short names like this. You can say maybe user validity, or you know, something like in sentence. This is what we call camel casing. In normal English language, if you want to start writing, start with capital letter. You say school, and then you say is fun, something like this. The first one is capital letter. But when you're working with variables, like maybe you're trying to assign variables, we use a case called camel casing, which means the first word, like word, not letter, not alphabet. The first word will be lowercase, then the following word without space. Or if you want to use space, you can use underscore, which is mostly preferable, but some people use this, but it is definitely going to affect your code because this is almost like a subtraction. So it's more like you're subtracting users from validity. Anyway, you have something like this, your code can actually be trying to subtract validity from user and it can give you error. But you can have something like this, user underscore validity. So this is one of the best practices too. But the next one would be the uppercase, not the first one. Alright, so for programmers it is called camel casing. So mostly all company uses it. So we have camel casing. So camel casing, sorry, camel casing. Okay, so now let's continue. So we have user validity. The person that just registered happens to be 14 years old, right? Okay, someone has a question. I'm hearing, let's say, question sound. I had you raising up your hand. Yes. The time, right? Is it the timer? You said? Yes, we have camel casing. Okay, we have different kind of casing, but the ones programmers use is camel casing. We have camel casing, we have sentence casing, which is the actual initial one people use. Sentence casing. We have upper casing, that's for everything upper casing. Then we have lower casing. And I think we have five. What's this? I can't remember the fifth one. We have camel casing, sentence casing, upper casing, lower casing, and there's another kind of casing. So, but this one is for programmers, and then this particular one is for student and typist, and then yes, everybody too borrows these two guys. All right. So that is how it just works. And then there's also one more particular kind of casing. So we're continuing with our app. So we have the user validity, and then we have user validity. So now this time around we are trying to create something that is fun. So we want to create this app in a way that even the users themselves can use it. So we want users to be able to use our app now. Okay, so we're going to do something like this. So we at the beginning of our app, because we still want this stuff here. Okay, so we're going to say user validity equals user validity will be equals to user, let's say user val now. So yeah, okay, let's say user val equals user validity. Someone has a question, please ask. User val equals user validity. Okay, so user validity, yes, user validity equals user validity. User validity. Okay, you're trying to say something. Please speak up. Yes, let's hear you. Someone is trying to say something. Okay, that means we have nobody. Okay, now let's start from the beginning right here. So first of all, let's set our user validity equals to let's say user validity equals to, okay, let's just, yes. Yes, please go on. Are you still there? Oh, okay. That means we should just continue like that. Okay. So now, I want to create a simple user validity app. So this time around, what we are going to capture is the user's name and then the user age. So we just need the user's name and age. All right. So we just need the user's name and age. My God. Speak. Someone is raising up their his or her hand there. Speak. Okay, I guess nobody is still speaking. So if you want to speak, please just speak. Just go ahead and speak. I'm going to hold on. Like, I'm going to wait for you. We need to quickly finish and then leave here as early as possible. We've stayed almost close to 2 hours here. Okay, so now name equals input. So this input is a function that we use to ask users to interact with our app. All right, so we're asking users to input something. So now there should be an object like a prompt command here that we're going to give the users to see. So let's tell users that enter your name. All right, so users should enter their name, and then that's it. We don't need any colon blah 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 like the other ones. So we've set user validity here, so let's quickly just use it and say user validity equals input, and then this time around let's tell the user and say enter your age. Okay, so then we want, if the user is older than 8, then we can say you are an adult. You are an adult. Okay, let's add their names too. So you are an adult, so I'm going to cut this from A, then give it a space, then I'm just going to write name here just ordinarily like this, and then say plus. So most of you should be familiar with this kind of stuff that I'm doing here now. You're an adult, yes. Say something. Okay, please go on. Okay, let me check the messages then. Okay, what is the essence of the camel camel kissing? Thank you. That's actually a very good question. Okay, so camel kissing, like, to be sincere with you, has nothing to do with anything. All right, but you know, programmers are just like some bunch of stupid people that just want to feel like their own ways are different from the ways of the world. Are you getting it? That was how they came up with camel kissing. And believe me, as I'm telling you this, no company will ever accept to read your code if you don't know how to name your variables, functions, and classes in camel kissing. As stupid as it can be, camel casing has been like the normal. So programmers are saying this particular style of casing is for anybody using this is automatically a programmer. Anybody using this is automatically a mere person. So it's not like there's any fascinating thing around it. This user validity, see, just watch this. I can use capital U, it will still work. It will still work. Do you see? It's still blue. It will still work. But the problem now is the fact that programmers just feel like that they like feeling special. And then in most cases, whenever you use, like in most cases, you see all these things here. So these are like global functions. So most of all these global functions like starts with uppercase. So if you learn how to use sentence case, if you're familiar with sentence case, like if you're using sentence case, you won't easily name your function the same name as all those global functions, because most of all these functions starts their initial name with uppercase, like uppercase, value error, you see, and the likes like that. So uppercase. So that is why they want to just stick with this, but it's still like actually very stupid. So why will I want to name my own value error? At least even if the global this thing is value error, can't I just name my value errors? Abi, I think it has changed now, isn't it? So but programmers, they've just assumed and they've picked that you must learn how to name your functions in lowercase so that global functions can be uppercase, and then they just want to feel special. And there's just nothing more. All right, so now we are actually coding, we are doing something. Okay, so welcome, your name. Oh, sorry, I need to use comma here to separate it. Yes, I need to use, so this is what I did here is called concatenation or concatenation. I call it concatenation, so I hope it's correct, because I call it concatenation. So concatenation is when you are mixing a variable with a string and then you are trying to send it to your interpreter to print it out. So mixing of a variable with a string, or mixing of a variable with an integer. Just mixing of a variable, which is your value, with whatever stuff you want to print out. So this is definitely going to give us something like, you are an adult, then the name. You are an adult, the name. You are welcome. Okay, you are adult, the name. You are adult, name, comma. So welcome. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Where are your parents? Okay. Where are your parents? Then let's add the double quotes here. Add the comma, and then still bringing this thing out. Then name. Name. Let's call out the name here, and then plus it with the remaining one back here. So where are your parents? Then the name. Then get out. Okay. So now let's run our beauty. Okay, let's just go through it line by line again before we run it. So we have our first line here. We have a variable called name. Then we say this is a container called name. So we are going to ask users to input something. So whatever the users input here, pack it, save it inside name. So once the user have added something here, let's say the user adds the name Roe. So this will no longer be seen as Roe to the interpreter. This will now be seen as, it will no longer be seen as name. It will now be seen as Roe. So now let's say in the user validity, maybe the user now says maybe the age is 15. So this will no longer be seen as user validity. It will now be seen as 15. So wherever this particular sentence like this appears in your code, what is seen is 15. Roy, wherever it appears. So in as much as it has been assigned. So once you keep a value inside. All right, so let's run our code so that we can quickly end this section. All right, so under here, as we can see clearly, it says enter your name. All right, so I'm going to let me pick someone's name from the chat there. Let's just pick someone's name from the chat. Okay, what name do we see first? Ray Emmanuel. Okay, Ray Emmanuel. Enter. So it says enter your age. All right, so let's first make sure it's working fine. So let's say 20. Say Ray Emmanuel is 20. Wait, there's an error. We have an error. It said is not supported between instances of string. Where? If user validity equals print you're an adult. This is plus. So where did we have the error? Where's the error coming from? Where's the error coming from? Line 8 here. Okay, if validity greater or equals 18, user validity type error not supported between instance of string and integer. What do you mean? Enter your age? Okay, that's true. I didn't remind you that it's going to grab this as an integer. Sorry, let's add integer here. Sorry, let's remind this. Yes, I forgot to remind you that it's going to grab this one as integer. Oh, pardon me. All right, so let's run it again. All right, so let's see what else have I not added. Okay, I think we are good to go now. Yeah, we are good to go. So did I just bump into an error? No. Okay, let's rerun this. Okay, enter your name. So Ray Emmanuel again. Ray Emmanuel. And then the age. So using same age. And then it says you are an adult, Ray Emmanuel. Welcome. Okay, so let's grab someone else's name to do the lower one. So don't take it too personal. We're just speaking as the name arranged here. So we have Dami, you know, go verse and your name come second for there. So we are running this again. So we don't worry, we'll not add the surname. So we'll just use Damilola alone. Or as a matter of fact, just the nickname Dami. And then age, let's now say even 17. Oh, that's even very close. Says, where are your parents, Dami? Get out. So thank you everyone for joining in this section tonight. Dami, I hope you are not angry. Like it's not you. Okay. So thank you all for joining in. Thank you all for joining in actually. So and I hope to okay, yes, thank you. I'm supposed to invite questions. Yes. Questions please. Yes, questions can come in. Okay, yes, definitely. The update will be out on that Telegram update platform. I'll make sure to do so, to explain more on other things that we were not able to spend time on. So for those, yes, it's going to be Mondays like this, Mondays, and what other day can we do this? Mondays and Thursdays. Okay, so let's make it Mondays and Thursdays. That's the problem. Weekends I have to stay with these kids 247 on weekends. Okay, we can actually fetch out time on Sundays. So for those raising up their hand, please don't raise up your hand. It's time to speak. Like we are done, so just unmute yourselves. Okay. Oh, okay. I will try as much as possible to upload some to YouTube, to the RoeTechHub YouTube channel also, and then send it directly to your team. So I hope you have a peer team already, so that I can just share it to your peer team, because I won't be sharing it to the general platform. Alright, so I will be sharing the updates to the updates link, that any updates saved to YouTube will be forwarded directly to your peer team groups, so you can use it from there. So do we have any other questions from anyone? Oh yes, you were saying, Dami. Okay. The time, yes, they talked about it, because now that we are 9, they are around 11. Now that we are around 9. Okay, they're even around 1. There are some that are around 1. Some are around 11 now. Okay, I think yes, definitely I can create time to do it around afternoon. No problems. Car. We are just around 9:03 p.m. Wow. So I knew some people too are like 3 hours away. 11. Okay, wait. Let me just first let's stop the recording. So I actually recorded the class, so let me stop the recording, then we can continue our discussions.